The hell? Yo, what's happening? What's happening? Tommy, what's going down? Threaded headwear, what's happening, man? How them LA hats moving for you, man? The cherry blossom ones. Decided to go live today because I've been out. Obviously, I was out of town, came back, Dodger games, haven't been able to get on live. So we here now. Diz, what's going down? Melody, what's happening? Christine, what's happening? Coretta Brown, Coco Crafts checking in. What's happening? I ain't got much, man. I just wanted to jump on real quick because I didn't get a chance to do this on Tuesday. So I just said, let me try to find some time Thursday. I don't got nothing going on, no Dodger games, no nothing going on. So here we are. I was out of town earlier this week, so try to get it in before Halloween, man. So what's everybody working on? No threaded headwear, got the cherry blossom hats booming. Diz is out here doing all kind of stuff too. I seen Diz knocking out like some shot glass cups or something like that. Boom, I'm gonna miss them. Just need to get it together though. Yeah, Dodgers for sure need to get it together. But those hats are moving, man, so that's a good thing. You gotta keep it rolling, keep the momentum going, you know what I mean? For myself, I've been testing out a few different blank t-shirts. Obviously still holding AS color up top, but then I got a few blanks in from a few different companies that I was wanted to check out. I wasn't too impressed with the way they washed, so I don't think I'm gonna go with them. But we'll see what happens. Easy Street Sneakers. I just dropped my first shirt for my new brand, Daily Income. Hell yeah, get that money, man. That's what I'm talking about. First of many drops, I should say. Terrence Crew, what's going down? The other thing I've been looking at was going back towards Plastisol transfers. 613 had some good stuff. Howard had some good stuff. FM had some solid stuff. So I'm checking some of that stuff out too. Is trying to figure out working on some not new products, like still t-shirts and stuff like that, but just going for like different looks and stuff like that. So I've been testing out a bunch of transfers. All I do is order samples. Like I'll email companies or I'll set up accounts with companies, ask for a sample pack, and then test them out. And kind of that's what I'm going through. That's why I said Howard. I never used Howard before, but I got their samples in, and some of their stuff is working out pretty decent for me. I'm going through the wash phase right now. 613. Obviously, I've used their stuff in the past, but I'm testing out some of their other ink formulas. I tried FM. Some of their stuff is holding up fairly well. I'm getting a little bit of ghosting, like some of the glue edge on some of the Plastisol transfers. So something to work out. I tried TKO and it didn't hold up in my wash test. So I think I'm probably doing it wrong. But I'm talking about their screen printed transfers, like the Plastisol transfers. It's not really working out for myself. So far I'm only on like the second or third wash, and I'm kind of seeing a little bit of a not really cracking. I guess it like separation, I guess you could say. Um, but yeah, you know what I mean? It's all in the just testing phase. You know what I mean? Like I've never used Howard before, so I'm glad I got a chance to try them out. And you know, the wash test with the Howard stuff's going fairly well, so they might be a really good option for myself using like the Plastisol transfers. So we'll see. Thread headwear said TKO has been good to me. The screen printed transfers got to me in less than 2 days. That's dope. I want to say they have a West Coast, or I might be thinking about 613. There's a bunch of these companies now that have West Coast suppliers now, which is dope. Yeah, I do the same test for all transfers, right? I'll get the sample pack in, right? And like let's say I already had drew a diagram of this. So I'll get the sample pack in, right? And say if this is like the sample transfer that they send you, I'll cut that thing up into like 8 little pieces, like just little squares, little pieces. And then I press them on the t-shirt like this. So I'll press it at like, let's say recommended setting is 300. I'll do 300, 310, 320, 325. And then on this side, I'll go a little cooler. I'll do like 290, 280, 270, just to see. I'll wash that thing, see how it works, dry it, wash it, dry it, wash it, dry it, keep going until I see one, like let's say like the one that pressed at 320 held up the best. Then I know for that transfer, I'm going to use 320 degrees to lay these down. Um, I do that sample like that test for whatever transfer I'm planning on using or testing out or trying out. I go through the same motions, put it in the wash, dry it, wash, dry it, and I just kind of monitor it to see. So anytime somebody in my house is doing laundry, I'm throwing that t-shirt in there. It's getting washed, it's getting dried, and then when it comes out, if it looks cool, cool. If it doesn't hold up, it doesn't mean that the transfer is bad. It doesn't mean the company's bad. It just means that I couldn't lay it down. So I don't end up using them. You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to go for like a little bit of a different feel, I guess, and a different look for some of these t-shirts that I'm going to be doing next year in 2026. So I'm just trying to do a little research now. So by the time January comes around and I go to the Impressions Expo, I could talk to these transfer companies about what I'm trying to do and get a little bit more information. Let's see. I have something ready to go if they win it all. Hell yeah, same thing. I'm sitting on something kind of crazy. If it does go, I want to be ready for the parade, so people could come to the store, pick stuff up before the parade, and drop it the day that they win it, and then see what it does. The one above all was happening. Let me see. I pressed TKO at the recommended, and it didn't last at all. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I always go what their recommended settings are for any company, and then I'll just try to go like different degrees, different temperatures, all the way down, and just try a bunch of different shit out, see what happens. I couldn't lay hot split to save my life. Yeah, hot split used to be my favorite. Now I was having some issues with the last go around that I ordered. Once again, it was just operator error. It wasn't the transfer's fault or anything like that, but I just wasn't getting the solid press that I wanted out of it. Um, and then I ended up using the 613 originals vintage. I think theirs is called vintage or retro or whatever it is. It's the transfer that's not that opaque. I ended up using that one for that job. Um, but you know, it is what it is. Schultz, what's happening? Um, yeah, so just testing out blank t-shirts, testing out transfers, just trying to see kind of like I want to like launch some different stuff next year. So just trying to do a little research now. The stuff I'm testing out now is probably not going to come out this year. Probably won't come out to like February, March. So this is just the research and development phase of just dropping products. I see your swing getting better. Appreciate that, man. I messed up my ribs. Um, I was out in Vegas this past weekend. Right before I left, I was out at the range, hitting a few balls, and then I felt like I pulled something. So I came home, and then like my right side was a little messed up. I was walking around, and one of the older homies had seen me and was just like, "What's going on with you? Like, why are you limping around?" I told him what happened. I was like, "Man, I was at the range and I felt something. Might have just pulled something." He was like, "Man, that's like rib fascia, something like that." He knew exactly what was wrong. He was like, "You're a beginner golfer, right?" So yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I know exactly what that is." He was like, "A lot of guys get this." So he said, "You got to take it easy, rest, ice, stuff like that." So that's what I've been doing, man. Plan was to go out to Vegas, hit some balls with the homies out there. Didn't get a chance to do that, but hopefully when my shit gets healed up, I'll be back out there. But uh the golf shit, that it's fun, it's frustrating, but it's fun at the same exact time, which is crazy. Um and then I just seen like a bunch of the homies been playing all these tournaments and doing all this shit, so it's kind of cool to see like the opportunity that is out there to do that kind of shit. But yeah, fucking golfing, man, that shit is cool. I haven't came around to like buying golf clothes or golf shoes or any of that crazy shit. I'm still out there in sneakers, t-shirts, hoodies, you know what I mean? I get golf clothes because it serves a purpose. Um I noticed that last week I was out at the range and um before I hurt myself, I was in a hoodie, like a heavyweight hoodie, and I started to sweat a little bit, so I took the hoodie off and then I started hitting more and then like noticed how restricting the hoodie was. You know what I mean? Like the hoodie was kind of limiting my swing once I took it off and I was just in a t-shirt. I had like full range of motion at that point. So I was like, I understand how golf clothes work. You know what I mean? There's a reason why it's fitted and it's stretchy and it's flowy and stuff like that because it moves with your body. Whereas you're not all cooped up in a big ass jacket or a hoodie trying to hit the ball. So I get it. I just haven't came around to buying any golf clothes. You trying to hit the grand slam, bro? Yeah. You know what? And I wasn't even swinging that hard, but I think I was just very tensed up, trying to like really dial it in, and that's probably what ended up messing me up. I haven't got to the point where I'm like hitting the ball far. You know what I mean? Like my shit ain't going like past 150 yards or something like that. So I'm just trying to get through the motions of just hitting the ball, actually like making contact with the ball. You know what I mean? Do you think your golf ideas are going to work out? I think so. I think so, man. A lot of the stuff that I've been checking out, and like I said, that's why I'm testing out a lot of different transfers and t-shirts right now, is to cater to some of that kind of stuff, and then to some of these other areas that I've been seeing where I can make some money. Um, I'm just trying to figure out the lane I'm trying to like cruise in. You know what I mean? The more I do the research and look at how many golf brands are out there, and there's millions of them. It's just like streetwear. There's every other person has a brand and makes polo shirts and t-shirts and hats. Um, but it's trying to figure out who's not doing certain things, right? It's like everybody uses a golf ball, a club. They turn the golf ball into a little character. They use clubs or tees crossed up like crossbones with the golf ball. They put hats on golf balls. There's tons of things like that that are out that I'm trying to stay away from. And some of the ideas I have nothing to do with a tee or a club or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to just basically trying to figure out how to stand out amongst 50 million other golf t-shirts out there before I even launch something. You know what I mean? I have the idea, but I just don't really have the execution down yet. So that's why I haven't decided to like dive right in. So one of the big things is, the golfers don't wear t-shirts like streetwear, where streetwear is just a standard fit. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Golfers pay attention to material. They want the shirt to feel a certain way. They want the print to feel a certain way. So I'm trying to like really do the research on that before I even launch anything. Because if I can't dial it in, then I'm not going to drop anything because I don't want to like half-ass it. So we'll see. The idea is there though, but I just kind of have to dial in all the small details, I guess. Some of the golf clothes are so silky, allows for full motion. Yeah, 100%. And like I just thought golfers were wearing just standard ass polo shirts, and then now I understand why they're like dry fit or moisture wicking, or they have like four-way stretch to them. Same with the shorts, same with the pants. Everything serves a purpose, which is cool. You know what I mean? I think it's dope as hell. But I just haven't like I guess I haven't came around to like, all right, I need to invest in golf polos and stuff like that. Like I'm just gonna ride out the t-shirt thing for a while until like a golf course says you can't be wearing a t-shirt out here. uh in Capas, I think that's your name. Shout out to Long Beach. I'll place my AS Colors second order tomorrow. LA Comic Con was skyrocket. Anime Pasadena next. Thank you for the tips. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm guessing you did the Comic Con in LA. You about to do this Anime Expo in Pasadena. That's what I'm talking about, man. It's placing your second AS Color order also. Somebody just shout out to Fight Night Customs. He was picking up an order today. When you go to AS Color, like if you're going to the warehouse to pick up stuff in Carson, there's like right when you're walking up the little it's like a little ramp to the loading dock to where you pick up your orders. There's a small little stop sign that's like right by the like visitor parking, like where we're supposed to park. There's a tiny little stop sign. Me and Provoke LA were the only two people that had stickers on that stop sign maybe a couple months ago. I forgot the last time I looked at that, like paid attention to that stop sign. Maybe it was back in July. It might have been back in July where I noticed there was like maybe a year or two ago, me and Provoke LA are the only ones that had stickers on that sign. And then in July, there was probably 4 other stickers. Fight Night Customs sent me a video of I think I reposted it too, of what the stop sign looks like now. And that shit's covered. Like the pole's covered, the whole back of the stop sign's covered. It's dope to see all the brands that go there. That's why I did it. Was it's cool to see all the brands. Like that's where I met Provoke LA. He makes dope ass hats and stuff. And I seen him there picking up blanks one time, and we chopped it up. And then I was like, "Oh shit, you're Provoke LA," and I would see his stickers everywhere. So then now it's like to see all the different brands that are picking up blank T-shirts from there. I think Hella Westy had some stickers up over there. Bad Fish out in San Pedro had their sticker there. There's a bunch of different ones, man. So I think it's cool to just to see who's going to AS Color to pick up blanks. I think it's dope. And I always meet dope people. Like when I'm picking up my orders up and I stand in line like everybody else. When I'm out there, man, I see everybody. So shout out to AS Color. But shout out to the homie that's going to be doing the Anime Expo in Pasadena, man. That sounds dope. You know what I noticed about anime people is they are really die hard for their shit. You know what I mean? They like if it's an anime that they're into, like the cartoon or the characters, they buy the shirts, the hoodies, the stickers, the bookmarks, the everything for that kind of shit. Um, I don't know too much about anime. My youngest son is kind of into it. He reads some of the books. My oldest son and his wife, they watch the cartoons or watch the shows or whatever they're called. I don't know too much about it, but I do know when I see people that are into anime, those motherfuckers like all the way into this shit. Like I wish I knew about that to try to make some money in that space. I just don't know anything about any of those characters or how that world works, but they spend big money. So good luck out there when you hit the Anime Expo in Pasadena, man. Whatever you're making, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be making a nice little chunk of change off that stuff. Christine said you need a mesh street with golf. I buy golf polos for my husband, but it's difficult to find colors and or designs that are cool. Most are so old man. No offense to any oldies. 100% I get it. There's 2 brands that I really been checking out. Well, 3. I'll say 3. One of them is called Malbin, very popular golf brand. They do a lot of collabs with like LA streetwear brands and stuff like that. So that's why I'm familiar with who they are. The other one is Eastside Golf. They have a dope ass logo. It's a dude with a gold chain swinging a golf club. And then the other one's Pluto. Pluto reminds me kind of like Billionaire Boys Club streetwear, but in the golf world. And then my oldest son put me up on them. He just sent me like some of the pieces that they were making. I thought was dope. So yeah, I'm just trying to like figure out where I could kind of maneuver my way around and not cause too much ruckus, but at the same exact time make a splash and make a little bit of money. I got to start making some stickers. Hell yeah, man! Stickers to me is like the easiest promo ever. Um, Very inexpensive to do, and you get a lot of mileage out of it. I usually bring stickers with me everywhere I go. I slap them up everywhere I go. It's just kind of second nature now. But yeah, if you haven't already, I would highly suggest getting some stickers done. Anime Expo's big, yeah, man. The anime crowd is dope, and they down to spend, man. Hypothetical question: if for some reason Supercolor no longer existed, would you go back to using Hot Split Retro from Stalls? I've never stopped using Hot Split. I've never stopped using Plastisol transfers. Um, I still to this day use them. The last time I used Hot Split, I was getting some bad presses. I couldn't lay them down, so I had to switch over to the 613 Vintage. I think it is. It's either called Vintage or Retro. Um, for that job. But yeah, I never stopped using plastisol transfers. There's just so many companies now that offer dope plastisol transfers. Like long time ago, excuse me, let's say 7, 8 years ago, I was heavy into the FM vintage formula, FM Expressions vintage formula. And I think their gang sheet sizes was like 19 by 13. I was using that for a lot of stuff. I was using that for churro stuff. I was using that for Gardena Originals. I was using their transfers for a lot of things. Um, and then I stopped using. I think it was like I was getting a lot of ghosting. No, no, with FM, I was getting like they weren't shipping the order in time, like they weren't meeting the deadline. So it'll be like they'll send me an email saying, "Oh, we're backed up right now. Your order is not going to go out Thursday. It's going to go out the following Tuesday," or something like that. It was bad for my production, so I ended up stop using them. And then he transferred. No, Stalls ended up having the like 2 day turnaround. I think. No, I don't know if it was 2 day turnaround or like they had a West Coast operation where they were getting the stuff to me quicker. So then I started really going heavy with the hot split stuff. But before all that, I was using like Silver Mountain. I was using Wildside. I was using these old companies. So I've never stopped using them. It's just easier for me to do a bunch of super color stuff because the turnaround's so quick. And if I'm already ganging stuff up on a sheet and then I can throw my own personal shit on there, that's why I have like, if there's room, I'm throwing on, my little LA with the Chucks. That design could fit on the bottom of a transfer. So I just throw my shit on wherever I can, and it's getting a free ride basically. Because if a customer's already paying for those set of transfers, there's room on the sheet. I'm gonna throw my own shit on there, and it eliminates me having to order transfers. But yeah, I've never stopped using plastisol transfers. It was just, you know, when it's easy to order and get them quicker, it just goes that much faster. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, like I was talking about earlier, like I'm trying out all kind of shit. Like right now, I'm kind of liking Howard's transfers. Howard has some dope shit. Transfer Express is always going to be dope. Like Goof Proof always worked for me. I've never had an issue with Goof Proof. I just like the feel of the hot split, but Howard 613 FM has some new formulas, and then who else? I tried some other ones that didn't really work out for myself, but I'm going through the washing phase right now where I'm just testing them all out. I customize hats and I usually put anime on them as soon as those hats are in Visual Sight they go. Oh shit, yeah, man. Like like I said, to the anime world, if I knew about it, if I did a little bit more research and decided to get into that space, I feel like they buy everything. Like I said, stickers, hats, shirts, jackets, fucking everything. It's cool though. Shit is dope to me. Same here with FM many moons ago. Then I had an order that none of the adhesive stuck to the garment. Yeah. And you know what's crazy is like I really, for the longest time, I loved the vintage formula from FM, and then when they just started pushing my deadlines back and was like, oh, we can't meet it because we're too busy, or like production was crazy, and it's a good thing for them, right? Like they're if business is booming to the point where you can't even keep up with the demand, it's a good thing for business, so I don't fault them on that. It was just hard for my production. Was like, I'm hoping that these transfers are going to land here on Thursday, and they're not going to get here till the following week Tuesday. What am I supposed to tell my customers? So for me, that's why I was just like, I can't do it. I got to find something local to me, close to me. And with Supercolor being right down the street from me, it made it way easier for me to just stop using everybody, because now I don't have to get my transfer shipped to me. I could just pick the shit up, you know, place the order, and damn there in a day or two, the shit's done in my hand and I'm already pressing. So I couldn't, like, you can't beat that when it comes to production. You know what I mean? If I'm waiting for the transfer company to ship my shit out, then I have to wait for the shipping company, UPS or FedEx, to actually deliver my shit on time. That's like two different people I'm depending on to get my shit in hand. And when you're trying to run a smooth production within your shop, it gets hard to juggle that when most people don't want to hear like, oh, it's going to take me 3 weeks to do this job. Most people want the shit done in a week. um so for me, it was like, nah, I got to go with somebody that I could is a little bit more reliable at meeting the deadlines and getting the shit like in hand when they say they're going to get it to me in hand. And that's not, like I said, it's not a knock on FM, because I like their transfers. I 100% love the vintage shit. That formula was like the perfect formula for white ink on black t-shirts. Like I made thousands on top of thousands of dollars using those transfers on black t-shirts. And that was like the best recipe. Was, I think back then, I want to say when you bought 100 gang sheets, single color, this is how long ago it was. It might have been like $1.50 a sheet, maybe $1.70 a sheet when you bought them at 100 pieces, 19 by 13, and you could gang up as much as you want on there. And I was making money hand over fist. And then at that time, 1701 all style t-shirts were like three something. So my t-shirts altogether were way below $5 completed. Um, and I was killing. I was making so much fucking money that I was able to sell my t-shirts for $15 to $17 and make triple my money. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't ask for nothing crazier than that. And yeah, like FM was killing shit for like the longest time when I was using them. It just, once they got wildly popular, it was just hard to get them in on time. Let me see. Still sticking with auto? Or are you shopping around? Yeah, auto prices killed me. Um, I've been looking at Pitbull caps. Pitbull's been kind of cool to look at. Um, I'm curious about some of the models, so I want to go to the showroom and check it out in LA. I've been using AS Color because their prices still stayed the same. They didn't hike them up. They're around five something. But yeah, Otto's killing me with the prices, man. Any tips on how to remove transfers from a shirt? Kind of hard. You could try VLR, vinyl letter remover. That might help on some DTF prints, but yeah, that's the only thing I could think of really. Have you done a step-by-step tutorial on starting up an online store? If so, can you link the video? You have a plethora of videos stacked with knowledge. The best way to search my videos is to type in the YouTube search bar, type in Big Brando and whatever you want to know. Like, so if you want to know about like online stores, go to Big Brando online store, and then the videos you're looking for will pop up. You could go to the playlist and look at the playlist, because the playlists are all broken up. They're all about online stores also. um, the information's there. It's just really how you choose to search. You know what I mean? And the easiest way to do it is YouTube search bar, type in Big Brando, and then whatever you want to know at the end. Big Brando pricing, Big Brando transfers, Big Brando marketing, Big Brando graphic design. I do my best at titling the videos to land in those searches. So have at it. Have at it. It was $1.50 for 100. Yeah, $1.50 a piece, man. So $150, and then like let's say $18 for shipping. For about $170, you had 100 screen printed transfers, and that was Plastisol screen printed transfers. I listen carefully for new ideas in t-shirt design. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. The only thing I find suspect with Pitbull is the sweatband is nothing like Otto sweatband. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. They have cool colorways. They have a million different offerings. They're kind of on trend. They ride the wave well. I'll say that. So like if trucker hats with camouflages in, they got a million different camouflages on their trucker hats. If neon color hats are in, they got a million different neon colors. So I think that's dope about Pitbull is they kind of have their finger on what's popular and what's currently trending. The only thing that I'm a little iffy on is the fit of the hats. Every time I see them at the Impressions Expo, I never put the hat on to try them on. I look at what they have to offer, but I never try them on. So that's why I want to go down to that. I think they're like right by the 10 freeway, downtown LA. So I want to check them out, actually wear the hat, put it on, see if I like it or not before I order anything from them. Um, what's the best color hats to use? Color hats, black t-shirts, black hats. Reason I say that is because that's such a neutral color that everybody has in their closet. You can never go wrong. Anytime somebody's trying to do like red or blue or green, it's limited because not everybody wears red or blue or green. Black, everybody has black t-shirts in their closet. Everybody has black hats in their closet. So you can never go wrong doing black with white. Black with white print, black hat, white stitching, can't go wrong. Could you please explain about getting business insurance or where to start? It all depends on what you're getting the insurance for. If you're getting the insurance for vending, sometimes you could get it for the weekend. You don't have to get it like you don't have to get it on to like a plan where you get like you're paying yearly or monthly or anything like that. If you're getting it for a store, if you're getting liability insurance, and insurance to protect your machines and stuff like that, that's something totally different. The best way to do it is to just Google search what type of like insurance policy you're looking for. Like if you just typed in small business insurance, there's a bunch of things that come up. Like off the top of my head, I think Next is one of the companies that does a lot of insurance for small businesses. Thimble is another one that does a lot for small businesses. Um, there's a bunch of them, man. Like if you, like I said, if you just typed in small business liability insurance or vendor insurance, because some like when you vend at certain places, they require you to have certain types of insurance. The policy has to cover up to so much. Sometimes there's like you have to add people onto the certificate for like second insurer. So stuff like that usually starts to populate on. So I don't know what type of insurance you're looking for, but that would be the best place to start is just like Google search whatever you're trying to find insurance wise, like policy wise and stuff like that. But always start with like small business or vendor insurance, and there's a bunch that pop up. And another good one to do is when you're out vending, talk to your neighbors, like the people that you're vending next to, and be like, yo, like, who do you use for insurance? Or do you get insurance just for the event only? Or are you insured for every event? That way you get a better idea on how a lot of that stuff works. Like for me, I have a retail store, right? So my insurance covers my retail store and the liability for the retail store and the business that's conducted under there. And then sometimes I'll pull out a different policy just for if I'm vending at a certain event that needs that type of insurance. So it just kind of all depends. Uh, let me see. Get blasted in, get blasted here in LA wearing the wrong hat. Yeah, that's for sure. Wearing the wrong hat in the wrong place. I get that. Let me see. 5 panel hats, yeah, they do got a ton of them, man. You know what hats I'm hoping come back are the 5 panel campers. Those hats are dope as hell. Just started watching the channel. I'm going to start my shirt soon. Lil Young, hell yeah, get that money, man. That's what I'm talking about. C-Loke, what's happening? Um, I would start with the playlist, Lil Young. Go to the playlist and run them up, man. Back to basics, printing money, starting from scratch. All of those are geared around starting t-shirt businesses from the very beginning. Like starting from scratch is basically me showing you how I start a brand new brand and everything that is involved with that, coming up with the name, all that shit, just fucking all the way through to making the first sale. And then same thing with like back to basics. If you wanted to like really go through the whole like printing your own shit, everything all the way through, that'll walk you through that shit too. I've been watching that playlist. Hell yeah. That was when I was running a brand called Leftovers, and I ended up doing Leftovers that way just so I could basically knock that shit down and show exactly what it took to get a brand up off the ground. And not everybody agrees with the shit, you know what I mean? Because everybody has different philosophies on how that shit works. But for me, that was like the easiest shit to do and the easiest way to get it going to actually make an impact. You know what I mean? And it was just taking old ass designs that I had saved on my hard drive and putting them on t-shirts and then putting it out there. But same thing with like printing money and those playlists, same exact thing. Run that shit up. Like you can figure out different marketing strategies and all that stuff and how to really make some money and get the shit going. I'm not doing too much with the Black Friday stuff and things like that. Like I'm gonna do some stuff for the store for my retail store, but not too much online. I'm gonna do a bunch of different South Bay stuff for the store. Drop some new products, probably introduce some new hoodies for the year for Black Friday. Well, for the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I'll probably be at the store and try to capitalize on that shopping weekend, but not too much on the online side. I might drop like whatever I drop in store, whatever I have left over, I'll drop on online, but mainly focused on the retail store right now. Starting out of nowhere, I just want to see my thoughts come to life, and any direction is good for me right now. Hell yeah, that's all it really takes. You know what I mean? It is once you start actually like, let's say you're like, all right, I want to put this shit out, or I got this idea, I want to get it out, and you put it out into the market starts rolling, and you start making a little bit of money. And then you put some other ideas out and say those other ideas ain't hitting like the first idea you had. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the market letting you know what's popular, what's not popular. So the more ideas you put out, the better chance you have at success, man. It's basically a numbers game of how you roll things out and then connecting with the audience. So if you got ideas, man, just put the shit out. You know what I mean? Let me see. Think about yourself and see what it is that you have that connects with others outside your friends list. That's your audience. Those are your customers. Follow Big Brando's advice. That's exactly it, man. Don't try to get rich off your friends and family. That's number one. You know what I mean? Your friends and family are going to support you no matter what. But if you're just relying on them to buy everything you drop, you ain't gonna go nowhere. You got to really, really tap in with the people you want to sell to, and then you make stuff for that audience. Like, for example, I got a retail store. Like, I sell T-shirts out of a store. My store is located in the South Bay. The shit that I sell in that store is geared towards the people in the South Bay. You know what I mean? If I started offering all kind of other wild shit, it wouldn't do me no good in that store. It's because the people that shop in that store come from that community and they come to shop with me within that community. So for me, it's understanding who's shopping with me and me giving them exactly what they want. You know what I mean? East Coast People Impressions Expo, Atlantic City, 2026 has opened up. Free passes for the next 36 hours. Promo code is spooky. Oh, that's for Atlantic City. 2026. Hell yeah. So anybody looking to go to the trade show and you want to touch some t-shirts, get some transfer samples, look at all the new equipment coming out, make sure you hit up the Impressions Expo. Just go to impressionsexpo.com or Google search Impressions Expo and it'll pop up. And there's one in Long Beach in January. That one is every January. 2026 is coming back to Long Beach Convention Center. That's probably the biggest show. Atlantic City, obviously, is another one for the East Coast people. I think it goes to Texas, like Dallas, Fort Worth area. And I'm not exactly sure where else that thing goes to, but I know it travels around. Just met with a local church to do their next batch of shirts. They're looking to get 90 to 100 done, get that money. Yeah, diversified threads. That's easy money. I'll say that. Easy money when it comes to doing church stuff, especially if it's a church retreat. If they have a youth service group within that church, it's easy to get in there and do shirts for them. Fundraising shirts is always an easy one to do. If they have carnivals coming up and stuff like that, you can make shirts for the people volunteering to help. Then you could also be making shirts for them to sell. There's so many upsells to doing church clothes or t-shirts. Um, easy call. I used to do it all the time, man. And like I said, it's good, easy, steady money when you lock in with a church because they have stuff going all the time. And let's say you're trying to get into the church space, you could go to any church, and usually there's a bulletin board that has a calendar of all their events coming up. Um, from there, you could go from there, figure out what events are coming up. If it's bingo night and you want to sponsor the bingo night, or let's say you wanted to make shirts for the bingo night volunteers, you could do stuff like that. They got carnivals coming up, craft fairs coming up. All that information is on that board, and then you can start maneuvering around that way. That I used to do it, so I know it's possible. Thanks for all the info. Wife and I are about to open a retail store selling dog clothes. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And owner apparel at Seal Beach. Not going to lie, but it's scary as hell, but not letting that stop us. Oh, of course it's going to be scary as hell, man. Down in Seal Beach is dope because big dog community down there, beach community down there, and the people down there really support anything that comes out of there. Seal Beach, Huntington Beach, Bolsa Chica, all those, even Sunset, like that little strip right there is dope as hell. So um, good luck for one. But two, I think you're in a really good spot. If you're making dog clothes for dogs and the owners, you're in a pretty good spot. So good luck with that, man. And I guess the other thing would be like you just got to come up with a cool name for your store. You know what I mean? You have a cool name that's going to drive people in regardless. And then you do like cool shit by like having like bakers make dog friendly cupcakes for the dogs and shit like that. And then that's what like drives people in on the weekends, people with their dogs. So I think that's a dope ass thing to do, man. Whenever you're open up, I'm down to come and check it out, man. Support you guys. I think that's cool as fuck. Um, let me see. Anybody got any questions, man? Shoot it out in the chat. Let me know. Appreciate you guys for jumping on. But going back to the Impressions Expo, if you guys haven't already checked out the Impressions Expo, highly recommend you guys sign up, register for free. Don't get hung up when it says if it's asking for like your business name and all that. You don't even have to be a real registered business. You can call your business whatever you want. They just want that field populated because you get a little lanyard with like it has your name and your information and a little barcode that a lot of these companies will scan so they can send you information. That's where they'll send you like catalogs. They'll send you information about what they got going on. All that stuff is on there. So highly recommend going. Impressions Expo is the best place to do as much research as possible when it comes to getting into the apparel space. Every blank company's there. You could find manufacturers for Letterman jackets. That's where I found my Letterman jacket plug from. Mesh shorts. You're looking for somebody to do mesh shorts, like custom mesh shorts. You can find them there. If you're just looking for mesh shorts that you could print on, you can find them there. Hats, embroidery machines, DTG, DTF, screen printing, vinyl. Everything is under that one roof. Blank everything. Bags, jackets, t-shirts, tank tops, jerseys, all of that under one roof, all at the Impressions Expo. And then you can go around, touch everything, talk to the manufacturers, open accounts with them, all that good stuff under one roof. It's a dope place to be if you're trying to get into this space. Do you rely on AI for your designs? Now, I don't use AI for anything. I'm old school. I draw my idea out, then I put it into Photoshop and I redraw it with the pen tool, or I trace it with Adobe Illustrator and then create my designs that way. But I don't use any AI. I just haven't figured out how to use it yet. So I'm not against it. I just haven't figured out how to use it. Let me see. David said I'll be there at the Impression Show. Hell yeah, I'll be there. January, Long Beach. Most likely, I'll be there all 3 days. So if you're planning on going and you see me in the crowd, let's grab a beer, hang out, chop it up. That's usually what I go there for. Is solely to walk around, do a little research, drink some beers, talk to the people. That's all I'm there for. Um, Anybody that's ever met me at the Impressions Expo can tell you the same exact thing. Drinking beer, hanging out, walking around. That's about it. Um, I'm there like, yo, man, like, Impressions Expo don't pay me to be there, nothing like that. I go there so I could check out new transfers and new t-shirts, talk to these manufacturers and stuff like that, do my own research. That's it. Let me see. The one thing about AI that's been tripping me out is a lot of those AI videos. They're getting really good. They look cool. Um, so it's only a matter of time before that kind of stuff is more of a staple in what we do. And I know a lot of people already use it. Like I look on Etsy, and there's people that use AI designs on Etsy all day long, and they're just cranking stuff out, putting them up, selling it. It's dope. You know what I mean? For me, it's you still have to be somewhat creative to be able to do it, because you have an idea in your head, you're putting the prompt into the AI engine, and it's spitting out something that you want, but then uh, you still have to say, yeah, that looks cool or it doesn't look cool. You know what I mean? So there still is a little bit of creativity behind it. It's not fully removed, it's still there. Which vinyl cutter would you recommend ideally for brick vinyl? I use the Cameo cutter. Um, I'd recommend that one because it's super inexpensive. It could cut the thick stuff like brick, flock, specialty stuff. Um, Excuse me. There's other cutters out there like Roland's and Graphtex and the more expensive ones, but the Cameo one's fairly inexpensive and it'll cut all the same stuff that you're looking for. I've owned Roland's and Graphtex. I've owned big cutters, US cutters. I've owned um I forgot the GCC Expert. I had that one for a while. And I left those big cutters to go to a Cameo, because it just took up less space and it did the same exact thing. So find a Cameo that fits whatever you're trying to do. Like the Cameo, like the 15-inch one is cool. The 24-inch one is cool, but if you're not cutting that big of vinyl, you don't need the bigger one. You can always get the smaller one, 12-inch, 15-inch, whatever it is. You'll be good to go. You don't got to break the bank on that kind of equipment, because really, when you're doing it, you got to remember like however you buy your vinyl, right? If you're buying it in 15-inch rolls, if you have a 24-inch cutter, it's still only going to cut that 15-inch roll. You know what I mean? It's not going to double up or anything like that. It's just having an extra, few inches to cut bigger rolls if you buy your vinyl that way. But if you're buying your vinyl in 12-inch rolls, 15-inch rolls, buy the cutter that fits that, you'll be good to go. Don't break the bank on it. Trust me. I'm cool with Canva. If I need it, sometimes I fix them on Photoshop. Marketing is the difficulty. Mr. City Boy. Canva's dope. All these like apps and softwares are there to help us out, right? But when it comes to marketing, man, it's more about trying to connect with the customer first, doing stuff that the customer understands. It's all about doing shit that like the customer is gonna be like, oh fuck, like, that's dope as hell to me. Let the like in whatever genre, niche, whatever you're trying to do, right? Whatever's relating to the customer, it's always dope to just connect with them first. And that makes the marketing a lot easier because now you're like speaking to somebody, you're speaking directly to somebody that you're trying to sell to. When you're just trying to like throw stuff out and hope somebody sees it, it's a little bit harder to fish that way. But knowing where to like actually throw the hook out to fish makes a world of a difference. I hate to use that analogy, but that's basically what it is if I know that the fish only like to eat this type of bait, right? I'd be dumb as hell to try to introduce a new bait out to the fish that I don't know if they're going to like it or not. But if I go straight to where the fish live and I'm introducing the bait that I know that they love, I'm just going to be sinking that shit right there so I could keep catching shit. So it's basically the same thing. If you're talking to the people and you understand who you're talking to or who you're trying to sell to, you're only making shit that they relate to. Then you just keep feeding them and feeding them and feeding them. And that's all it is just now you're basically just going straight to where they live, straight to what they're into, and you're handing them all the products that you know that they're going to like because you're making something specifically for somebody. It sounds stupid, but at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. It's not rocket science. It's just playing to human nature. That's all it is. Let me see. J Star, what's happening? I've had my 16-inch US cutter for about 10 years and it's a workhorse. Hell yeah. That's what it is, man. Anything you recommend that could replace DTF? I don't know about replacing DTF, but there's like transfers that a lot of people never heard of, like Plastisol transfers, which is a screen printed transfer using Plastisol ink. That to me, hands down, probably one of the best transfers ever. I've always used screen printed transfers, but when you use a screen printed transfer with Plastisol ink, you get that best like hand feel is dope as hell. It lasts on the t-shirt and it just has that look that a lot of people are going for. You know what I mean? So if you haven't already, look up Plastisol transfers, man. Plastisol is a type of ink that screen printers use on t-shirts. So the if you know how regular screen printing works, right? You burn the image onto the screen with the emulsion, you flood the screen with Plastisol ink, you put the screen down and then you push the ink through the screen with the squeegee onto a t-shirt. Well, instead of pushing the ink through the screen onto a t-shirt, they put it onto a transfer paper. So same process, burn the screen, push the ink through the screen onto that transfer paper, and then they send that through the conveyor belt dryer. And then all you're doing is peering the transfer into the t-shirt with your heat press. Instead of doing it through the dryer, you're putting it on with the actual heat press. That type of transfer I've used for years. If you go back to my old videos when I first got on YouTube 9 years ago, you'll see me talking about them because nobody was talking about that style of transfer. Do I think it's like replacing DTF or did DTF replace those transfers? No, because they're two totally different things. DTF is a strictly digital print. It's getting printed off a digital printer. Screen printed transfers are just that. It's screen printed. You can't like screen printing is just that. If you're going to screen print something, you're pushing ink through a screen. It's not a digital print, it's screen printed. So if you haven't already seen those, I would highly suggest checking those out. And then you could compare the two. You could see the difference. You'll feel the difference for one. It's dope, man. I will say this though. Screen printed transfers, they come on a paper. It's a paperback. It's not film, so you won't be able to see through it. A lot of people hate using screen printed transfers because they can't see the design when they're laying it down. There's different things you do. You could fold the transfer, increase it, and stuff to get the center. But a lot of people have a hard time with that, laying those transfers down because they can't see it through the film. But I would really, if I was you and you never seen those types of transfers, check them out. Have you ever used Caesar Brick? I have used Brick HTV before. I did it on some like fleece, like crew necks and sweat shorts and stuff like that. Looked cool. That was like the only use I had it for, but you know, pretty cool. Let me see. Okay, got it. Yeah, not a problem, man. Looks like a lot of people got away from HTV. Yeah. A lot of people that got into t-shirts because of HTV ended up finding DTF months later, and then they just transitioned over. The beauty with having a vinyl cutter is, one, it's inexpensive to have and own. Two, if you have a heat press, having a vinyl cutter is like peanut butter and jelly. They go together. So I've never got rid of my vinyl cutters, because if I have an idea late at night, I could throw that shit into the vinyl cutter, cut out that design, put it on a t-shirt right then and there. It's harder to do that if you don't have a printer and all this other shit. Like, so just to test out designs and do like custom one-off shit for like friends and family, it's always easy, like very easy to do with vinyl. And vinyl's super thin now, and it's pretty cheap. So, you know, nothing wrong with it. It's just a lot of people, they feel like they're upgrading. It- all of these different print methods have a time and a place to use them. They're not comparable to each other. It's always funny when people are like, "Oh man, comparing HTV to DTF or whatever it is." DTF, you don't have to weed, but DTF also comes with that crazy ass price tag if you're buying the printer, right? Are you going to buy a $18,000 printer, or are you going to buy a $200 vinyl cutter? It whatever fits your budget. You know what I mean? So it's hard to compare the two, but there's nothing wrong with either of them. And the cool thing is, like, HTV's got all this other shit, right? Brick, you got puff, brick, flock, foils, metallics. You got specialty shit that looks like fucking carbon fiber, other specialty stuff that's like printed vinyl. There's so many other things that you can do with a vinyl cutter that's so dope. And a perfect person to watch do that kind of shit is Diz. Diz does all kind of fucking DIY stuff with his vinyl cutter all the time. So if you watched his videos, you'd be like, man, this guy's making all kind of shit with his vinyl cutter, things I'd never even imagine you can do. He's doing everything on his own, and it's shit's crazy. Let me see. I've done some realty signs for sale for my sister. Use my vinyl and Cricut. Make some nice money from me. Hell yeah. That's exactly it. Diz Majiz, he's in here. Diz Majiz, that's his page. He uses his vinyl cutter for fucking every. He's the king at DIY stuff when it comes to like vending and just putting out merch and all kind of stuff. Makes dope ass content, man. So you should check him out. Um, yeah, when it comes to like those real estate signs and stuff like that, easy way to use like your vinyl cutter. You have all the equipment to do it. You can make decals. You can do all kind of shit. And like one of the things that I was making a ton of money on, this is probably 2017, maybe 2016, 2017 was, um, I was pressing heat transfer vinyl onto leather bound books and selling those out. And I was putting like dumb shit like putting blessed and just putting like little quotes onto leather bound books and selling them and making a killing, man. I was making a fucking killing. And it was just heat transfer vinyl on a leather bound book. Let's see. What type of transfers do you recommend for doing hoodies, DTF or screen print? Either or. Use DTF or screen printed transfers. It's really up to you on what makes sense to you, what feel you're going for, what look you're going for, how many colors are in your design, all of that stuff. It just depends on what you're actually going for. They both work on hoodies, so it's really up to you. Like when it comes to transfers, this is what I recommend everybody doing. Go to every transfer company you could find on Google, order samples from them, and then as the samples come in, you test them all out, you see which ones work, which ones don't work, and then you save those companies, write them down and be like, all right, this company had this dope ass transfer, this company right here had this dope ass transfer. So then that way you have a whole catalog of different transfer companies to use whenever certain jobs come up, or you want a certain look or a certain feel or a certain turnaround time. You have all that information banked up. You don't have to just use one company. You could use 10, 20, 30 different companies if you wanted to. But you, as the business owner, you have the option to hold all of those different transfer companies in your back pocket. So when things come up, like, yo, I want to try these guys out for this, or I really like applying this right here to aprons, or I really like applying these right here to this certain type of material. It's basically you have all the power to use whatever company you want to, whatever works for you. That's the biggest thing, is you have to do what works best for yourself. I'm a bit confused from a vinyl printer and a DTF printer. Don't they do the same thing? Vinyl is a white piece of vinyl and then it's printing on top of the vinyl. DTF is ink straight onto the film, no vinyl at all anywhere. And it's doing it in a reverse process, right? So the white vinyl comes through and then it's printing on top of the white. There's no white ink applied. The white ink is the white vinyl showing through. So it's just CMYK printing onto there. On DTF transfers, it's doing it backwards. It's printing all the colors first, and then it does a white base layer after, and then it gets the adhesive put on there. So it's two totally different substrates, and then the methods are different also. Finished result is a little different also. Where vinyl is just like one big ass sticker, um, DTF is actually all ink. A lot of people are like, man, it feels like a sticker, but it's just basically all ink. That's all it is. It's just layered ink on top of each other to make that print. Um, so like if you're buying, if you have a vinyl printer, you're buying rolls of white vinyl to print onto. When you have a DTF printer, you're buying rolls of just clear film to print onto. Basically, the difference. Let's see. Gotcha. Yeah, not a problem, man. If anybody else got any questions or anything, man, shoot them out. Did about an hour. I apologize for not being on Tuesday. Like I said, I was out of town. Dodgers World Series. Dodger games are on at 5 o'clock, so it's hard for me to jump on live at 7 o'clock. So I had some time today on Thursday. That's why I jumped on. So I appreciate you guys for even jumping on. Kind of dope to see a bunch of people get on here, ask some questions, and have a cool little convo. You know what I mean? Yeah, if nobody else got any questions, man, appreciate you guys. Hopefully next week I'll be back on Tuesday, man. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Appreciate y'all. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace.